On October 17, 2025, a single notification shattered the evening calm. It was as if the world collectively held its breath, the ordinary rhythm of life interrupted by a digital tremor that no one saw coming. This wasn't just another headline scrolling by, but a raw, unfiltered quote from Donald Trump, sent directly as a push alert from CNN, bypassing the usual filters and commentary. More notifications followed in rapid succession, each one more shocking, more direct, and more provocative than the last. The pace was relentless, leaving no time to process before the next bombshell arrived. Suddenly the world was glued to a live text interview. No cameras, no polished production, just words appearing in real time. Conversation stopped mid-sentence. Screens lit up in every home, cafe, and office. "Are you seeing this?" became the global refrain, whispered in disbelief and shouted in group chats. It was a moment of collective astonishment, uniting strangers across continents. Social media exploded, hashtags trended within minutes, screenshots of the interview circulated at lightning speed, and every message was dissected, debated, and memed in real time. The digital world was ablaze. The intimacy was unnerving. It felt like eavesdropping on a private chat between powerful figures, yet it was happening in public, for all to see. The boundaries between public and private, official and off the cuff, seemed to dissolve. News anchors and editors were bystanders, just as stunned as the public. The gatekeepers of information found themselves on the outside, watching events unfold in real time, with no control over the narrative. The news wasn't being reported, it was happening, live, in everyone's hands. In newsrooms, chaos reigned, phones rang off the hook, staffers rushed to verify what they were seeing. Was this real? Who was typing? The line between journalist and audience blurred. The usual news cycle was obliterated, swept away in an instant. Deadlines and editorial meetings became irrelevant as the story unfolded second by second, right before everyone's eyes. There were no graphics, no scripts, just a scrolling feed of stark, unadorned text. It was raw, immediate, and impossible to look away from. At MSNBC, Lawrence O'Donnell's show was derailed as staffers huddled around monitors, transfixed by the text. The usual order of broadcast was upended, replaced by a sense of urgency and confusion. The event broke every protocol, a broadcast with no camera, an interview with no voice, just the relentless flow of words. It was journalism turned inside out. Trump had hijacked the news cycle, without a rally, a press conference, or even a tweet. He had found a new way to command attention, rewriting the rules in real time. CNN became his message board, forcing every other outlet to follow. Rival networks had no choice but to display CNN's feed, their own coverage reduced to commentary on the unfolding text. The power dynamic was unmistakable. Trump at the center, the media in his orbit, spinning helplessly around the gravity of his words. The rules of the game had changed, and no one knew what would come next. The old playbook was useless, and uncertainty hung in the air. The digital earthquake had just begun. Its shockwaves rippled through every city, every home, every mind, leaving a sense that the ground beneath our information landscape had shifted forever. The world was watching, and nothing would be the same. In that moment, history was rewritten, not on paper, but on screens, in real time, for all to witness. The format was the story. For the first time, the way information was delivered became as important as the information itself, blurring the line between medium and message. No studio lights, no faces, no voices, just blue and gray text bubbles on a white screen. The familiar interface of our daily lives was suddenly the main stage for breaking news. The language of everyday messaging was suddenly the stage for a global news event. What once felt private and mundane was now broadcast to millions, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. The simplicity was shocking, the absence of human cues unsettling. Without faces or voices, the experience felt stripped down, almost clinical, yet strangely intimate. Viewers lost the ability to read body language or tone. All that remained were the words, typed in real time. Every pause, every ellipsis, every abrupt reply took on new weight, open to interpretation. Delays and abrupt topic shifts fueled suspicion. Was this really live? The uncertainty only heightened the tension, making each message feel like a potential revelation or a calculated move. The sterile, disembodied exchange felt manipulated, yet impossible to ignore. The lack of context made every word seem both more important and more ambiguous. Each message arrived like a personal notification, mimicking the addictive pull of social media. The format tapped into our habits, making the news feel urgent, immediate, and tailored just for us. The illusion, you were texting with Trump yourself. The boundary between public and private, between audience and participant, seemed to dissolve. This direct access was a masterstroke, turning a formal interview into a viral, personal event. Suddenly everyone was part of the conversation, sharing, reacting, and amplifying every word in real time. The spectacle wasn't in the answers but in the audacity of the format. The world watched, not just for what was said, but for how it was being said. It was a new genre of political theater, speed and engagement over depth and accountability. The rapid-fire pace left little room for reflection, but plenty for reaction. The old rules no longer applied. Visibility was no longer required for influence. Power could be wielded from behind a screen, unseen but unmistakable. A powerful figure could command the world's attention without ever showing his face. Authority was now measured in notifications, not appearances. The grand stage of public discourse was reduced to the cold, impersonal glow of a screen. The intimacy of the living room was replaced by the isolation of digital light. The medium had become the message. The platform itself shaped the story, dictating how we experienced and understood it. And the world couldn't look away. In this new spectacle, we were all participants, drawn in by the glow, unable to resist the pull of the screen. MSNBC's newsroom buzzed with confusion and fascination. Producers scrambled to fact-check Trump's claims in real time, an impossible task. Anchors stared at the scrolling text, their show rundowns in ruins. The public's reaction was a mix of outrage and awe. The event became a cultural phenomenon. Suddenly, everyone was an expert, analyzing Trump's punctuation and capitalization. The format made the interview viral, blurring the line between civic engagement and entertainment. Journalists questioned their role, reduced to bystanders as Trump bypassed traditional scrutiny. O'Donnell went on air, warning viewers, this was manipulation, not accountability. The newsroom's confusion turned to anger and fear for journalism's future. The text format was Trump's weapon. He controlled the pace, pausing as long as he wanted before responding. Silence became strategy, time to craft, consult, and deflect. He ignored questions at will. In text, an unanswered prompt simply vanished. The interview became a series of pronouncements, not a real exchange. Context and nuance were lost. Everything flattened into shareable, punchy sound bites. Each message was engineered for impact, not dialogue. Trump built his own reality, using CNN's platform as his megaphone. The narrative belonged to him, alone. The Trump text interview blurred the already thin line between journalism and entertainment, making it nearly impossible to tell where one ended and the other began. What was once a space for serious reporting became a stage for spectacle. CNN's format prioritized spectacle over substance, turning news into a performance and dismantling the mechanisms of real accountability that journalism is supposed to uphold. Fact-checking was impossible in real time. Falsehoods and misleading statements spread unchecked, leaving viewers confused and misinformed. The interview quickly became a super spreader of misinformation, amplified and echoed by social media platforms where rumors and half-truths travel faster than facts. The suspense wasn't about uncovering the truth, but about what Trump's next outrageous text would be, turning news into a game of anticipation rather than enlightenment. News morphed into reality TV, voyeuristic, passive, and ultimately corrosive to the foundations of democracy. As viewers became mere spectators, the public's demand for truth was gradually replaced by a hunger for drama, spectacle, and emotional highs, leaving little room for critical thought. News organizations, desperate for clicks and engagement, fed the cycle by prioritizing sensationalism over substance, chasing viral moments instead of meaningful stories. Journalism became a willing accomplice in its own decline, trading away public trust and credibility for fleeting attention and short-term gains. The Fourth Estate, once a pillar of democracy, now risks becoming a mere court jester in the palace of power, entertaining but no longer holding the powerful to account. The CNN interview sparked a fierce debate within journalism. Some argued any access to Trump was a win, even in a flawed format. Others saw it as capitulation. True access means asking hard questions, not amplifying propaganda. By accepting Trump's terms, CNN traded authority for spectacle. The precedent was dangerous. Would other powerful figures demand the same? Reporters felt betrayed, their work overshadowed by a gimmick. The argument that something is better than nothing rang hollow. The profession faced a crisis of identity, and the future of news hung in the balance. The text interview was a warning, a glimpse of journalism's possible future if it chases relevance over responsibility. Democracy depends on a press committed to truth, not just access. The lesson: tools may change, but journalism's core principles, verification, context, accountability, must not. We must demand more from our news sources and reward real reporting. Spectacle cannot replace substance. Good journalism is a pillar of freedom, not a luxury. When the press trades its soul for a moment in the spotlight, democracy cracks. The path forward is clear, facts matter, truth is worth fighting for, and fearless reporting is indispensable.